Hello and welcome to another edition of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes.com, with me as your host, Chris Action Horse McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. Joining me today to discuss the brand new Boss Fight Studio Mighty Steeds Kickstarter project are Erik, Floody the Disco King Araña, that only Erik and I will understand, Catrina, a real equestrian hero Araña, and Paddy, I was so poor I wasn't allowed to look at a horse, Lennon. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this news burst. So, with Boss Fight Studio on the verge of launching their brand new Kickstarter for their awesome Vitruvian Hacks Mighty Steeds project, it's all very exciting. We have wrangled Erik and Catrina from the team to talk about the project with us today and to answer some of the members of the Boss Fighters Facebook group and our own listeners' questions as well. So first off, how are you guys feeling about preparing to launch this massive Kickstarter? How's it at Boss Fight HQ right now?
Excited.
Overworked. Yeah, overworked. Fred is on life support.
Yeah, devastated, exhausted, scared, all of them. Yeah, got you.
Yeah, Fred's been sculpting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, so he's cut back a little bit, has he?
Yes, he has. Trina and I are constantly
fighting
either at the office, either at the office or working while at the skating rink, or
I can just imagine
we're putting together the Kickstarter and changing things, and
I can just imagine you guys at the rink on skates, like with laptops in your hands, just kind of like that. That would be so amazing. That has to happen.
But let me change this price.
Amazing, and looks at us expectantly, and we're like, "Wait, what? Did you do something?"
Amazing. So, I mean, do you feel it's going well? Do you think it's going to be like, are you close to kind of completing this now?
Yeah, I think we're just in the round of like spell checking, fixing any small minor mistakes, but I think we're all pretty comfortable with where we're at, and as soon as Kickstarter is also comfortable with where we're at, it'll be pretty.
Have you guys actually because you have to do like a review, don't you, with Kickstarter, and you have to kind of send it away for them to kind of like make sure everything's up to speed?
Yeah, and we're not sure, like when we did it last time, it was like a 2-day process. I don't know if that's still how they run. It's been a few years for us now.
Yeah. You're used to doing this, obviously, with the Vitruvian Hacks one. Have you kind of has it come easier to you, this one, or is it one of those things where it's actually been a lot harder to do because it's a completely different style of figure?
It's definitely been easier because we've done it, and we know, well, now we know better what our timelines will be, what our costs will be. We used a lot of the framework from the first Kickstarter and a lot of similar type levels. Kickstarter has gone through a lot of changes, though, so there were definitely updates that we had to make, things that we had to figure out, but I'd say it's been easier this round.
Yeah, we also used not just learnings from our original Kickstarter, but seeing how the landscape has changed a little bit for how the fans react to the other Kickstarters, like Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and Dime Novel Legends and stuff like that, like seeing how what they've done and their stuff was influenced by us, and now is influencing the way we put ours together too. It's
like a influence circle jerk.
Yeah.
We definitely did a little bit of like, wait, go back to Jason's. How did he word that?
Yeah. Awesome. What can we? Is this stuff you can talk about before it goes live? Are you allowed to kind of give us a little bit of a taster of what to expect from the lineup?
We definitely don't want to give everything away. We want some surprises for that day.
Yeah.
You guys have seen it, but there's only 5 or 6 people who have. So outside of the boss fight crew, so I would say we could talk about most of it.
Do you want to just maybe cover off how much you're looking for, what's going to be funded by that, and what the pledge levels are, and then we can leave the stretch goals as surprises for people?
Yeah,
that'd be the best way to cover it. Because that way that'll cover the basics, and then there's questions further down that I think.
Yeah, and
they'll cover off a lot of what's coming later on and so on as well.
Yeah, we can give away some of the stretch goals and stuff in the questions, I think. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, some of them. So
Cool. So,
Erik, what's the funding goal, and what are you looking to fund with that funding goal?
The first funding goal is $125,000.
Nice.
That will pay for the initial...
It'll pay for basically everything we launch with, which is 2 basic horses,
Yeah.
a unicorn,
2 saddles and 2 kits.
yeah, and also a rainbow builder kit, I believe.
Oh, and the creature kit
Yeah.
for the Pegasus unicorn.
So it actually covers quite a lot.
Yeah.
Some pretty amazing terms coming
that's
out
like-
here already. Pegasus unicorn is tickling my fancy.
Yes.
Well, 3 horses, two horses and a unicorn, 2 different saddles, and 2 different accessory kits that go with the saddles.
Yeah.
The kit to build the Pegasus unicorn, which is paired. Our creature kits are paired to a specific color of horse that already exists. So there's not a Pegasus unicorn figure to buy by itself.
Yeah.
You buy the Pegasus unicorn and you buy one of the specific basic horses.
Yes. You'd buy the white horse and then the Pegasus kit.
So there's no painting unless you want to.
Yeah, if you want to change things, you can. These will be fully painted, but the kits will be painted to match a specific basic horse. So you buy the basic horse, you buy the kit that matches, and you can put them together.
Nice.
That's to kind of keep the cost down for... As a collector, sometimes I have stuff in my collection I rotate around and move. Like I'll change heads or change... Like if something comes with 2 heads, I don't buy 2 of them all the time. I will swap out and put 2... Like put 1 head on for a couple months, and then I'll move some figures around and I'll switch the heads and stuff like that. So somebody who doesn't want a Pegasus, but they also don't want to buy 2 horses because they're, toy collecting is financial burden. You can just get
I'd like to call it an imposition.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Could you talk a little bit about the levels that you can back it at and what you would get for that money?
The basic horses are going to be $35.
Cool.
And that's for the basic horse, fully articulated, fully painted, full color window box, packaging that we're still developing.
One of the major things, I'm going to interrupt Erik here for a minute. One of the major differences between this Kickstarter and our last Kickstarter is the flexibility we're given on the rewards that we didn't have last time.
Yeah.
So anything, I think, other than a single reward, if we say a basic horse, you can choose any. In the all-in includes a specific amount of things, but you can choose, if you don't want one of everything, you can choose to have a certain amount of the same thing or a variety.
Okay, so you can pick and mix what you want. If you,
We
for
only have
example, if you really wanted Roman upgrade kits for the figures, you could go get a lot of Romans.
right. If you
didn't want a unicorn or whatever.
Yeah, if you pledged at a certain level, and we do have some knight things that were unlocked, and if all you wanted were knights, you could select to only get the knight things.
Is this going to be in like the backer kit afterwards?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That will be a question, I imagine, in the list of questions.
So many times over the next 45 days.
Amazing.
It's hard. It's hard. Kickstarter is hard for people who don't.
It's hard for people that do it regularly, Erik.
Yeah, let alone if you've never done it before. And as always, always the goal with us is to be bringing in new collectors, a new customer base. So we're expecting to have to, we become experts by the end of it, because we're having to learn it ourselves, the best way to do it and the best way to explain it on the, to the consumer. So
it's become a real science, hasn't it? Like there's a real thought process that goes behind this to kind of get the best, as a consumer, for the consumer to get the best out of something like an all-in or, those kind of things. So I find it interesting when a Kickstarter is kind of on, in progress, and you've got all these people kind of coming out, kind of posting things saying, well, I've noticed this trend, or I've noted this trend, and then you'll see the detail and the depth of stuff that I would never even contemplate that comes out of these things. That's something you guys have to think about before even setting this up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like last time, if there's something that's a glaring mistake, we'll fix it. Like we did that last time where we
did it a few times. I think we ended up having to add a figure to a few of our levels because the math didn't work out in the end, hadn't realized it. And we added the Amazon just because of how many people requested it, and it was something that hadn't even occurred to us at the time.
Quick, design it!
Yep.
It literally was.
It wasn't even that. Fred, sculpt an Amazon.
Yeah,
oh
Fred,
my goodness.
sculpted a new skirt for it while I like did some of the other design work on it, and then we just like merged them together. We're like, okay, here we go.
That's brilliant. Oh my god. Have you kind of come up with, do you expect to be doing kind of things like that for this particular run, or do you feel like you've covered all the bases?
I don't think there's any way to know if we've covered all the bases. I think we do a pretty good job, but every now and then, whether it's on the message boards or messages to us, somebody will mention something and we'll be like, oh yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. So we're curious to see what comes up this time.
So rewards. Take us through the rewards.
So when you say rewards, are you talking about the pledges?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let Trina
The
handle
pledge
it.
levels, yeah.
Okay. I'll handle the money.
Yep.
So we have a basic thank you level, which is you don't get a horse, you hate us, but for some reason want to give us money.
Or you just want to leave comments on the Kickstarter. You need to pledge something to be able to comment. So if you really want to leave comments,
to troll your
like if you
Kickstarter.
really hate Boss Fight, pay $10 and they'll
Give us
let you in.
$10, we'll let you troll us.
$10 is the troll.
Well, you know,
you should have that as a troll pledge level.
Under the
Do you remember? You probably don't remember, since I follow Kickstarters a little bit more than you guys do. But when they were kickstarting, when Harmony Gold were trying to kickstart Robotech Academy a couple of years ago, they had a pledge level that was just called Enemy Spy, and it was so people who wanted to troll them on the Kickstarter just had to pledge a couple of dollars.
That's genius.
So they could.
That's genius.
Because people don't like Harmony Gold, so they knew this and thought, well, we'll take your money anyway. And so they had a pledge level for just so you didn't get anything, you just got the ability to comment on the Kickstarter and send them nasty messages.
You can call your pledge level bum fighters.
Just have it in at like $5. We hate you.
$5 to
Pledge
troll.
level.
Amazing.
So much time. I don't have time to hate other companies and send them messages. My God. Do
crazy.
something you enjoy.
Yeah, they do. They do enjoy that. That's why they do it, and they'll pay to do it too.
That's so ridiculous. Okay, anyway, the next pledge, where you actually get something, you get a single horse for $35.
Yeah.
After that, we have in the sets, we have a couple of accessory levels. One is a small gear set. It's like 3 to 5 pieces fully decoed to put on your rider.
Right.
We're calling it a mini kit. It's not, that's kind of just what we've been calling it, but it's like a gear kit.
Yeah.
And then we have a tack kit to gear up your horse. And then we have a character builder kit to make your horse into something else. So that had to be explained because the second level, you get a horse tack kit, and a mini gear kit for your rider. And that's at $65.
Cool.
And then after that is basically double that. 2 horses, 2 tack kits, 2 mini gear kits.
Yeah.
Can we just mention the tack kits and the mini gear kits options for the start? So you have an Australian saddle and the Roman saddle is your tack kit.
Yes.
And then your mini gear kits is the Rancher, which is like a bandana, mask, a rifle, and a holster for the rifle. And then the other gear kit is basically a Roman Legionnaire upgrade kit.
Nice.
To give him the Roman helmet, the shield, and a spear. Is that that's what I'm thinking are your gear kits? Is that right?
And there is going to be, on the tack kit, there is going to be a slight variation of cost because we didn't want to have a million different options and a million different pledge levels. So we kind of accepted that the tack kit, you could also choose a character builder kit because the cost isn't so different.
Sure.
So instead of a tack kit, you might be able to get a unicorn build a kit. So depending on what you decide to buy, you'll get a better value, but it's only a better value if that's what you really want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you just want
that
to...
goes for the night tack kits as well. Like, you can pick the night tack kits.
Yes, but if you buy it separately, the night tack kit is going to cost $5 more because it's a lot more.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot more plastic.
But for us, if you want Romans, that's great. If you want knights, that's great. We don't want to have 30 pledge levels just to that stuff.
Yeah,
out.
we're trying to streamline and simplify for everybody.
Boss Fight just wants your money as simply as possible. So we're making it simple as possible for you to give us our
Just
credit
buy
card details.
pieces, damn it! I don't care what.
We don't need complicated money. Yeah. I'll take however it comes. I suppose you'll be able to add additional items in the backer kit as well. So if there are any kind of, you know, if is there something you can't really work out in the in the pledge levels of, you know, of the exact amount of things that you want, even if you want more or you want a few other different items, then you can obviously add those separately in the backer kit when that finishes the Kickstarter, correct?
Right. And this isn't our other Kickstarter. We limited add-on items because the backer kit is much more smooth to work with than the company we worked with previously.
Yeah.
So we didn't limit to, I think you had to pledge in at a certain level in order to do add-ons last time.
Right.
This time...
You do the $115 level.
Right. This time you can
for
buy on.
Vitruvian Axe.
Yeah. You can buy on at any level and add on.
Oh, great. So you can do the troll level and just buy a bunch of things afterwards if you want to.
If you really want to. It's just not the best value.
If you're going to troll us and then buy stuff from us, that's fine.
Oh, do you know what you should do?
Yeah.
You should have a troll pledge level, but then, like, as a surprise, the only people that do the troll pledge level get a brand new troll boss fight, like, brand new figure. And like that's the thing. Like, all the trolls then get like these figures, and they're like, oh shit, we can't really troll them anymore because they just gave us a really cool troll figure from Boss Fight Studio with loads of articulation.
It's just one of our figures with the rooted hair from a troll doll.
Yeah. Sculpt a new hairpiece.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I guess repaint.
It's
Luna's hair to be a troll.
Naked.
Oh my god, we could do that.
You should do that. Naked
it's whatever
blank.
It's whatever blank isn't selling, and just some cotton wool dyed in a really outrageous color,
None of
so they can make their own troll doll.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing.
Next level.
Yes.
This is one of the only ones that you can't actually mix. This one is our launch item reward. It's sort of similar to the 115 level we had on our last one, where you get one of everything that we launch with.
Cool.
There's no substitutions. You get the basic shield horse, which is white.
The white.
The black horse, the unicorn, rainbow tack, Australian tack, Roman gear, rancher gear, and then the rainbow unicorn exclusive. I may have read that wrong, but basically you cannot substitute on that level.
Sure.
That's a lot of stuff for $175. Like, that's good value.
We're
Like,
very
that's,
happy.
you know,
We're very happy with the pricing that we got back from the factory.
We were worried we were going to be charging $50 a horse, so we are so happy with the $35.
That is actually really impressive. I think a lot of people were worried it was going to be in that kind of 45 to 55 range, which again, like, I think would have been acceptable as to what you're actually getting. But the fact that you guys can do that at 35 is pretty exceptional, and I don't think you really get any kind of, you know, for a figure of that level of quality and detail and size in any other, you know, in horse kind of terms, you're not going to be spending that little amount to get something like that. So that is incredible. When you think of the horse, like the other horses that are out there, of, you know, that even the same scale, let's say, don't even come close to the actual quality and detail and design and stuff. So yeah, this is quite exceptional. You guys have managed to do it at 35. Are you sure you're not like cheating some sort of tax thing here, or?
I think our factory is just so thrilled not to be assembling any more snake tails.
Or doing 900 items in one way.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Is there? More levels. Next.
All right, the next one is a creature roundup level, which basically you get one of every full creature. I think we've shown the pictures of most of this. So you get the 3 different colored horses, the unicorn, the sugar skull, should it be unlocked, the elk, there's a centaur. So you'll get one of everything. If they don't unlock, you'll get 7 steeds of your choice.
Cool. And you also get an Old English sheepdog as well to round them up, I guess.
Yes.
That would be amazing if you guys started pulling out little dog figurines. That'd be amazing. I would be buying all of them. But yeah, okay. So that like these levels, they seem really good value, don't they? Like everything seems like wow. Like I could be happy at these levels, even though I'm going all in. It. But I mean, I would be happy going, you know, for some of the other levels, knowing that I would be getting my money's worth. So. You know.
We tried really hard to balance it with obviously needing to pay for making the Kickstarter something different. It's not just retail.
Yeah,
We want to give anybody that backs it the best value that we can, so that they don't wait until we have them in our store.
I don't think retail exists anymore anyway, Catrina. I think everything shut down yesterday, didn't it?
Well, our stuff will be available at Toys R Us and Circus World, FAO, and Play World will all carry our product.
Each one of the stores has ordered an exclusive.
Yes.
They all troll figures with different hair colours, yeah?
Really, it's somebody that's just squatted on those names now that they're all out.
Yeah, it's one guy owns them all. It's just some guy in the basement.
MG Entertainment exclusive. Brilliant. Oh my god. Amazon exclusive is what you're going to have to do. Yeah.
Get the code.
The next all-in obviously is what it is. Anything we unlock, you get one of. If we don't unlock everything on our initial list, or enough to meet it, you'll get 7 full creatures, 12 tack, and 5 of the mini gear sets.
So you'll get the same value of stuff if we don't unlock everything.
Yeah.
Still.
Okay.
That's to kind of encourage everybody to go in from the beginning. I know we had a lot of it was really great for us when our all-in reached that value, and all of a sudden we had so many people upping the pledge. This time though, we want to make sure everybody gets their value before we get there.
Sure.
Yeah, you get your money's worth from day one if you're pledging at that level.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Obviously, as we unlock stuff, you get more and more exciting choices. But
I mean, I think it helps that you guys have already run a successful Kickstarter campaign, and based on the way other Kickstarters turn around from Kickstarter successfully funding to actually releasing figures. You guys, people were complaining about the time it took, you guys to kind of get your product out there, but look at every single other Kickstarter. Like, every single other action figure Kickstarter has had a much longer time period to do that, or they are looking like they're not going to do it at all. So, that's got to carry some weight, and that must make you guys a little bit more kind of secure in this being like a successful venture.
It definitely gives us some confidence that the consumer they know that we're good for it.
We're confident in our timelines and our pricing now. We've worked with our factory now for 3 years.
Yeah.
And we don't have any surprises with them. They're really great and upfront, and they can tell us if they can't do something or can't do it at that cost or in that timeline. We rarely are surprised by timing anymore. I sympathize with everybody that's done the Kickstarters before and after us, because the first time is really hard, because you are kind of by the seat of your pants. You don't know for sure the costs you're going to get or the timeline it's going to take, because generally when you're running it the first time, you haven't secured the factory completely because they don't know who you are. They can kind of give you a rough idea, but unless you have a painted prototype, you really don't know. And you don't know where your stretch goals are going to go, so you don't know how many figures, how much tooling. So that first time out of the gate, it is really hard.
Cool. Next level is the one. Yeah. All in 2.
We are actually going to add a level that isn't listed here, and it's just going to be an early bird to our all-in, which is going to run, we're thinking, for the first 5 days.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a $10 discount off the all-in.
Oh, brilliant.
So we can't put it in because we can't put it in until we know what day we're going to start. It makes you put a calendar thing in there.
Sure. Is that restricted to a certain amount of people, or is it open for that time period?
I think we're just going to open it to the time period.
Awesome.
So no need to
$10 off. Woohoo!
No need to stampede the pen.
Oi! Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Rein it in.
Oh, hi-ho, silver, and away. Anyway, sorry, that didn't make any sense.
Pledge that we know of. Last time we ended up adding a couple, but the last pledge that we're starting with right now is at $1,000. You can
have your face on a horse.
Yes. We'll sculpt a head matching yours. This is going to be a basically mostly for the horse owners and horse lovers. You can send us photographs and we will make your horse.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to send you a photo of Bravestar's horse. Yes, sugar.
It is asterisk as real horses only because we know our fans.
Yeah. So can you put in like realistic bullet holes in and blood and all that kind of stuff? Is that too much? Too much.
Has a broken leg.
Too much. Oh, God. Can you just send me a pot of glue? That would be my...
This one has a leg and comes with a rifle.
This one's sponsored by Elvis.
Oh, goodness
a pot
me.
of glue and a pot of glue and 16 cans of dog food.
Oh, or the Burger King burger.
Or an entire aisle in Sainsbury's. Yeah. Oh,
a London Burger King.
Oh, yeah, you'll be lucky. It's only rat meat. But anyway, no, that's amazing. And, possibly the harshest and funniest segment of a show we've ever done. So that you can get your own horse by sending a picture in. You can get like the deco done. Obviously, you're not going to start sculpting it to exact specifications, are you?
It's just a paint job.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, it's my one's got this slight different leg kind of structure. You're going to have to build the entire thing from scratch, guys.
We sculpted all out of macaroni. I don't know why macaroni, but yeah, it'll basically be we will take one of the production horses, and Erik Ridlon, our expert painter, master painter, will
master what?
Will repaint it, to match the photography that the person sends us. So if this is really for, like Trina said, the people who have horses, who run ranches and stuff like that, if they want these things, like a horse of their horse,
Yeah, it's so cute. I love that.
I imagine that'll be limited, right? That's not going to be available for like you don't want 20,000 people signing up for that level.
Yeah.
Erik would be so fucked off, wouldn't he?
We don't want to kill Erik. We're limiting it to 10.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. So, and that's the final level, is it?
Yes. Yeah, we had some higher options last time, but with the horses, they don't really give us those same opportunities. So this is where we are for this.
Okay, so I've got a question, and you may have already answered this in something else that you're talking about, but once, say for example, the Kickstarter goes gangbusters, you unlock absolutely everything on your list of items. Will there be additional stretch goals added, and do you have things as backup for that, or is this a case of as it happens you'll just have to kind of do it?
We definitely have some backups planned.
Okay.
If needed, but the jump between the final stretch goal and the first additional stretch goal is going to be kind of large.
Yeah.
It will also probably run on a different timeline because our factory, if we get past that, we will probably have to have
multiple shipping.
A 6-month gap or so. I mean, it's the best possible problem to have. We have our stretch goals going to about $400,000, give or take. So if we suddenly are having to scramble for things over that, I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse problem.
Yeah, true.
But we do have about 10 to 15 things slotted as just in case, and they're product we would like to make anyway. So for us doing the work up front, after the Kickstarter, we would want to slowly release these things anyway.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
And that means that I'm going to have to see all of these after the show, and I want to know everything that you're doing.
We haven't started the work on them. We just have a list.
Yeah, basically. It's
I want to see the list. Show me the f***ing list. I'm just kidding. So with that said, let's crack into some boss fighters and listener Q&A questions.
Will horse armor be available, specifically coloured to match the Knights of Accord armor?
I think we already talked about Knights a little bit, so I think this one's a safe one to answer.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Do you want to talk about the other thing too?
Which one?
I'm going to leave this back and forth in so that we can.
Okay, so
Expose.
So witty, such good radio.
For sign language, whether or not we want to give away secrets or not.
Yeah. So yeah, there will be a Knights of Accord and a Knights of Asperity armor kit for both for the horses.
They are amazing.
They are very Fred designed the Knights of Accord armor, and then I took the armor and I made some additions to it and some changes, and it's mostly deco changed, but then there's some new pieces as well to make it the Knight of Asperity armor.
Nice.
On top of that, there will be Knights of Accord and Knights of Asperity gear kits that are specifically
Jousting sets.
Jousting sets.
I'm so excited.
Amazing.
So there's like a bad guy joust kit and a good guy joust kit with shields and helmets.
Man.
The Knight of Asperity joust set that I designed, I was very happy with because it's got
it's so fun.
evil motif, and it was a lot of fun. It's not just a straight up joust kit, but it's got skulls and stuff on it. So.
Quick question. So does this mean that the Spartan spear that you guys developed in the Vitruvian Hacks line won't be the most dangerous item in the boss fighter's arsenal anymore?
Jousts, as a rule, aren't necessarily sharp. With blood.
No, but they're bigger, so you can definitely use them as a shank.
Yes.
They're meant to knock you off the horse so that you can slash your opponent with your sword.
Yeah, afterwards, you. So I think the spear is still going to remain the most dangerous weapon
so far
ever made.
We're not allowed to bring them in schools in America.
No, we can bring the spears, not the toys.
Not the toys, that's right.
Mental.
In fact, teachers are armed with our spears now.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds amazing. That does sound amazing, though.
She's playing with one of the spears right now.
Oh, is that why you screamed?
It is. She's spraying blood all over the studio.
There's no way you can't hurt yourself, even just looking at that thing. Like, just in package. I've picked a package up and been like, Jesus, like, how did that...
I cut myself so many times when I was making the first round of grab bags.
We have a bin that's just full of spears.
Yeah.
You may as well
have been bloody in, syringes. Like, used syringes. Awesome. Okay, next question. Will there be an accessory available if you wanted to add 2 horses side by side, like to draw a wagon or chariot? And on top of that, do you have plans to make either a wagon or a chariot?
I love the escalation in that question.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
I want to do 2 things to have to draw side by side, to draw a wagon or a chariot, but also make a wagon or a chariot, yeah?
You should see the third part was USS Flag in it somewhere, so yeah.
At this point in this Kickstarter, those are not options. The chariot, the fantasy vehicle type things are always something we talk about, but we're literally not going to put the cart before the horse.
Whee!
Whee!
So, horses first, and then we'll talk about vehicles.
I do have a entire folder of reference
horse puns.
Of horse puns. Of nothing but horse puns. No. Of like towable catapults and wagons. Yeah, like all sorts of stuff. But yeah, as of right now, the tooling we got to do this step by step.
Of course,
and not board right out of the gate.
Should the horses be popular, and I can't imagine we won't get there if the horses are a big enough success.
Yeah,
I must admit, if you have a trebuchet, that would go down then as the most dangerous weapon in the boss fighter's arsenal, especially if you could light the little things you're lugging on fire. I mean, how amazing would that be? Get on that now, actually.
Make it so it actually launches our spears.
Yeah.
Make it, yes! And then you've got basically that's a nuclear warhead you've just described.
It's going to be 1980 Battlestar Galactica toy all over again.
Oh, amazing.
So the next one, will the elk be its own full sculpt, or is it modular bits that are added to the horse?
The elk is partially new and partially the horse. It is not as exact as an actual elk. The legs are a little incorrect, I think, but it's very close. It's basically it's the horse with a new set of withers, which are like the horse's shoulders. Yeah. So the withers piece is shifted out. It's got a new neck and a new head with the antlers, and it's got a new tail and a new hooves that drastically change the shape of its legs, actually.
Yeah.
So
when we looked at animals, the elk is really the only close animal we could get to make with the horse. Like, you think you can do a zebra and all these other things, but they are not the same.
Yeah, zebras are actually quite different in shape.
Yeah, so the elk was actually a good choice for us. We did a lot of research on what we could make, and that's kind of it.
And I believe when we decided on the elk is when right around the same time we asked Paddy to include the elk into the
bio card.
That's why I asked,
because we wanted to link it to, and like all the elven gear is made to fit on the elk. Like the elven gear has a different reins and what's it called, the muzzle harness, the
tack you were talking about before.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's got like a different shaped tack. Like the elven tack that goes around the face won't really be able to fit the horse.
But
because
it
it's
can
shaped
be replaced.
differently. You can switch it because the saddle can fit on either the horse or the elk. So
it's just the reins that you can swap out for the horse ones if you want to use your elven saddle on a horse.
Yeah.
Cools. I've got a question in 2 parts here. Are there ideas/plans for other large creatures, assuming everything is depending on the success of this Kickstarter? Would alternate heads for the horse be part of an accessory kit or blind bagged? So the first part, are there actually any plans for other large creatures?
Not yet.
We really have to wait and see how this does. We would love to do more animals.
Yeah.
If this does well, I can't imagine we won't. We all want it badly.
Yeah.
Other heads for the horses, I think that would be assuming the horses justify themselves, I can't imagine that we wouldn't.
Yeah. These do not come. I mean, there's the 2 different unicorn heads that will be part of the creature kits.
Yeah.
But other than that, we only have the one, because I mean, there are different horse head shapes as well. Like there are a couple of different versions. Like we kind of only stuck with one version for now, and if we move forward with this line as a regular line, which I can't imagine that we won't, we'll probably, we'll add new head sculpts into that and stuff. So
cool.
So how customizable will the horses be? I.e., can you switch out heads, legs, etc., and how much variation will be included in customizing? Obviously, this person is not familiar with your work to date.
Yeah, it'll be what you would expect.
Everything is customizable.
1 block of plastic, no movement.
Yeah.
You can't take anything apart. You have to boil it.
Paint just won't adhere to the surfaces. It just slides off.
We've coated all of it, especially so paint.
Only if you paint with milk, Paddy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I can answer this for the active brevity. I think I'll answer this. Yes, you can switch out pretty much everything.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, it's going to be as customizable as you would think it is. The main thing that will, like, the horse is actually built, it's multiple pieces around a skeletal structure inside the body of the horse.
Cool.
And the withers, the shoulders, actually like connect around, and when you take them off, the ports for the wings are actually in that skeletal system. So the Pegasus version, the Pegasus kit comes with the reason it comes with a separate set of withers for you to swap out is...
Gives you access to those ports.
Yeah, it has ports, it has holes that gives you access to those ports for the wings.
You can't just have them in the withers or the wings won't stay up. So they had to be firmly secured to the skeleton.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the neck will come off, the head will obviously pop off. The head does not fit on a human body. The port had to be much larger on to give it the... Yeah.
You can swap manes.
Oh yeah, the mane comes off, so you can switch manes. We have longer manes and shorter manes.
Different tails.
Also, the knight armor clips into the mane, the same port that the mane connects into. So you would take the mane off to put the neck armor onto it.
Awesome.
Obviously the hooves and the knees and ankles, they all are customizable.
Oh, cool. So the hooves can come off.
Yes, because the elk has separate hooves.
Of course, yes, of course. Awesome. Okay. As Paddy mentioned previously, there are a lot of people have been asking about colours, so I'm going to read all of these out in one go. So one person has asked, what are the planned colours for the horse? But then on top of that, there's, will there be glow-in-the-dark versions? Will there be any horses done in blanks colours like chrome or bio blue? Any translucent horses? A skeleton horse? Now, if we go back to the planned colours, you can talk about some of these and then we can come to the others, right?
The initial colours are real basic horse colors, black, white, brown, with deco. They're not just plain black, plain white, or plain brown. They are going to be decoed. As far as blanks go, this is something we've talked about back and forth in the offices, and at this point there are not. We are kind of waiting to see the request for them because it's a little different for a horse wanting a bio blue horse or a red horse. With our blanks, you can make costumes and all these other things. With horses, we're not sure what people are going to make with them yet.
Yeah.
And the white and black one
they're basically blanks with slight deco.
Yeah, like the deco on them is, around the hooves, and there's some oversprays on them and stuff, but it's not like covering up a red figure with yellow paint is almost impossible, but you can cover up a white horse with yellow paint if you really need a yellow horse. I don't know why you would. But
I would say, though, that I think in some cases, I think it would work, like a chrome horse, for example. I think that would be really cool if you wanted to do something along the lines of, I don't know, Galaxy Rangers customs, or if you wanted Bravestarr 3030, if you wanted that kind of style. And I'm giving the game away a little bit for the next talk, but in terms of like customizing and stuff, I think chrome works really well for that. And then obviously the really fancy stuff, like where they've asked for glow in the dark, that kind of stuff. I mean, and translucent. I think that would be epic.
Well, can I just say about glow in the dark? Glow in the dark is a nightmare on the factory to get correct. It is not a consistent process.
Yeah.
It's also not as big of a seller as the requests would imply.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think people buy one of and then they're happy and they're done. So the handful of glow in the dark that we've done, we love it, but it's not, we have it all still.
It's not your biggest seller.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, you have most of the glow in the dark sets and stuff in stock still, so
yeah.
The ghost light sets and so on. So.
Well, I think people can request it all day long, can't they? And that's the problem. If someone's just saying like, yeah, they do glow in the dark, like 6 months down the line when it's actually released, they've just not really, it's not on their radar, or they don't care, or they've changed their mind, or they just said it for the sake of it. So there's much smaller percentage of the people that actually request it will actually go and buy it as well. So I do understand that is a bit of a problem for you guys.
It's funny because the last Kickstarter you guys did, everybody was like, oh my God, release that skeleton early and we'll buy millions of them and you'll make a fortune. And like, I still haven't got the travel into boss fight corporate jet yet. So obviously they were probably overestimating how much interest there was going to be in skeletons.
Patriots.
We love glow in the dark. It just if people bought it as much as they requested it, it would be worth the QC problems with the factory, because it does make the plastic weaker. It's hard to get it vibrant. It's really hard if you want vibrant colors that are also glow in the dark. And it's just the number of steps it takes to make it versus how many people actually buy it at this stage makes it not as worth it. And
it's more of a one-off kind of thing that you maybe do as a exclusive down the road once it's clear that that's something that people want.
This is a new line for us. It's a entirely new concept and line for us to be selling, new price points, new everything. So going into it with something as zany as glow in the dark right away, or chrome, or any of that stuff is probably not the best way to start it. It doesn't mean we won't do these things in the future if this takes off, because certainly a bio blue horse would be freaking cool.
We definitely talked about blanks and colors of blanks. It just, we have to see what desire is really there. Yeah. And the easiest for us to do that is to do the stuff we know people will want first.
Are you guys interested in doing a skeleton horse? Because that was another question that was thrown in that group.
Are you interested in doing one? Because I'd probably buy one if somebody else made it.
I mean, the amount of, I don't know, like design and blood, sweat, and tears that went into that actual skeleton, the human skeleton. Was another nightmare of production. Yeah. It's really thin plastic. No matter how hard we make that plastic, how dense we make that plastic,
pieces are small.
Still bends, and it still ends up a little floppy. So when you think about the weight of a horse, of their rib cage and everything on those spindly little bone legs, I think the horse would be another nightmare of production. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't do it. It doesn't mean that we can't do it, but
you can't be bothered right now.
The skeleton, we sell the skeleton all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, we sell it like crazy. Would there be as much of a desire for a skeleton horse as a basic skeleton would be the real question, and I'm not sure there would be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the tooling and the extra, just like the glow in the dark, the extra balance with the factory I'm not sure that it would pay off for us in the end.
It's the sort of thing I imagine people will buy one of because it's cool,
Yes.
and then never buy another one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is different because, I mean, even though obviously you're talking a different price point anyway, it's different because you can buy skeletons by the load, and it's not that much of an issue. But you add that exponential like $10 on top of that, on top of what it would, for a skeleton horse, and maybe even more if you guys had to put more into it to actually get it to actually be made. Then that's going to have an effect if you're buying an army of them. That's going to be really expensive exponentially. So
it would be more parts, so it would be new tooling, more parts, so it would probably be more money than the regular horse.
Exactly.
From the factory's point. Doesn't mean we won't ever do it, but right now we're staying fairly safe.
Yeah, wait till you sell the USS Flag first, and then we'll move on to that.
Yeah. Our USS Flag docks into the Terradrome.
Will the current Hack's upper bodies be able to fit in the Centaur, or do they have different connecting points?
They have much like the Gorgons. They have a different stomach piece, which comes in the Centaur kits.
I think all the saddles and everything will fit, right?
Yeah, all the saddle stuff will fit, and the upper body, like above the stomach, like the chest, from any blank would fit onto it. So yeah, it's just like the Gorgons, where it's got a separate like stomach abdomen area that like transitions from the horse to the human.
Yeah, the tack kits would fit, with the exception of anything that obviously goes over a horse's head or neck, because that just won't be there.
Yeah.
But the saddles and everything should be.
Yeah, they would all fit on there too.
Cool.
You could have your elves riding centaurs.
Sweet. And there's my fantasy completed. Can we get a full description of the range of motion on all the points of articulation, please?
Oh my goodness.
Most of them go up and down, and the rest of them go side to side. There are 32 points of articulation in this figure.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot of it. When the Kickstarter goes up, there's an image of all these different poses that we put the horse in and took photos.
It's a bit cruel, really.
Yeah, you can see we did that with a real horse and then photoshopped the joints onto it. The poor horse.
I was just going to say, anything you've seen a real horse do, the Hack's horse can probably do.
And more, I'd imagine.
There is like a side-to-side movement that the neck and head have, but it is not the same side-to-side movement that an actual horse has. Also, the one thing it can't do is you can take our horse to the bath with you, but you can't make it drink. Our horses, you can't make it drink your yummy bath water.
Oh.
You can't. The horse unfortunately cannot get its neck and head down into that drinking position, which is kind of a bummer. But if we did that, we would have had to gouge out this whole section of the front of the neck. Mm-hmm. That would be really awkward and strange.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that from Playmobil horses, which always had that big gouge in the neck.
Yeah.
Other than that, it can get into nearly all natural poses.
Yeah.
It's just like our other figures. I mean, obviously, I can't get any of our figures into ice skating poses because they're not as flexible as like our son.
As a human.
But you can get them into most of the natural poses you're going to ever use. And that's kind of the same with the horse. It obviously has limitations because it's hard plastic, but you're not going to be disappointed by what you can do with it at all.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When can we get a Medusa horse with snakes for a mane and a tail?
Snakes for a mane is amazing.
Snakes on a mane.
Snakes on a mane
I'm fed up with these Sorry.
Oh, Fred might kill us.
Oh yeah, Fred has to sculpt 4 snakes.
Amazing.
And obviously, if this goes through, we'll start looking at it just like we do our other accessory sets, and we'll probably want to do the standard stuff everybody's going to want, combined with the quirky stuff we love to do. So
I really, really want to do a hippocampus, like Greek style mer horse. So
well, that actually comes up soon.
That actually comes up later, so we can actually skip that question now, which is great because we've got loads of these.
Yeah, the answer for the hippocampus is I really want to do one. I don't know that we'll ever get to it, but we do have the mermaids line coming up.
Buy lots of horses.
So buy lots of horses.
We can have a hippocampus.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Will Pegasus wings only be available fully open, or will they be available to close and tuck into the sides, or would that be two different sets of wings?
The wings do not fold up. We made the call while we were discussing what to do with the wings. We made the call to just make them spread open. Because, in all of us collect toys, all of us buy toys, and while sometimes a set of wings is really cool when it can fold up, we have yet to find any that don't have really kind of intrusive hinges.
Noticeable mechanisms, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of one of those things. Everything we do is a balance between aesthetic and articulation. That's where we try and land somewhere in the middle. We do sacrifice sometimes, like the neck not being able to go all the way down to drink. We made that call because we could do it, but it's going to be it's not going to be aesthetically pleasing. And
it'll be noticeably not
yes,
aesthetically
so
pleasing.
and the hinges on the wings, we made the decision to not have them. And right now, with the cost, again, not running too far ahead of ourselves, we also decided not to include.
It would have been a full tool for more.
Yes, the wings are big, so it would have been an entirely separate tool just for folded up wings as well.
Likely, what we'll do is should we go on from here to do accessory sets and continue, is eventually we'll have a set that will include folded up wings.
Yeah,
separately,
so that Pegasus can chill the out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
it has to wait. Not right now.
Yeah, we're going to work that Pegasus, though. For now.
Amazing.
Can you discuss balance of the horses by themselves versus balance with riders? 3 feet in the ground poses look great, but are they achievable with a rider?
Well, Dave definitely took some photos, and we don't have the stand yet for it. So all those photos that we're taking, except for the ones where it's rearing up, and actually some of the rearing up ones, he had it balanced on the tail, using the tail as a... As a third.
Oh, cool.
But
it's got some pretty good balance on it.
It's got some pretty killer balance on it, and as long as the joints stay tight, that's on us to make sure the factory keeps the joints tight.
I can just imagine holding my horse by the waist and just having like really wonky legs, like the like the horse in Toy Story 2, like Woody's horse.
Falling over like Ed 209, like trying to go down the stairs. Can't do that.
I don't have any photos of it yet, but it will also have a stand.
Yes.
And it'll be an adjustable stand so that you can use it, whether it's in a standing pose, a rearing up pose, a riding pose.
Will that be transparent, or will you do it like so that you can so it isn't as noticeable?
As of now, the plan is to make it transparent, but it's not done yet, so we don't know exactly.
It's so transparent it doesn't exist right now.
You could probably get the Kotobukiya or Bandai stands.
Oh, those
action figure stands.
Yeah,
this will probably work, right?
And I buy so many of those Bandai stands. I have so many of those.
Yeah.
Cools. Will the horses have shoes like sneakers or work shoes? I'm kidding. Or will they have bare hooves? My hooves. Can we get both when appropriate?
It behooves us to give them all Air Jordans.
At this stage, because we're dealing with historical, we haven't really gone into modern horses at this stage.
Yeah.
We have bare hooves. Do we have pegs in the feet of our pig horse?
I think they are going to have pegs, yeah.
Because that means that could be something we do in an accessory set later.
Oh, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
just little
pop-on.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Little sneakers to just pop on.
Yes. Yeah.
But right now, we're looking at bare hooves.
That's cool. But like you said, that whole thing with the peg would be brilliant, and then you could just plop them on as and when. Awesome.
The next one actually you guys have already answered, which is the horse head compatible with the existing neck peg in any way? And
So
you said no.
Next.
The next one, will there be horse armour that matches the orcs and elves, which you've already actually mentioned as well?
Brilliant. Keep going.
So can we hear some discussion on how the eyes will be handled? The eyes of the horses will be larger than humanoid eyes. Without as many other features to give the horse a personality, what is the plan to make the eyes more lifelike?
Glitter.
Yeah, we're actually going to harvest tiny pony eyes.
Pony eyes.
I mean, most horses have very dark eyes. They're going to be decoed to look natural. They're probably going to be a high gloss because that's just what you do with eyes. But they aren't going to move. They aren't.
They're not a separate piece or anything. That'll really be up to Erik because it is something at the size a horse's eyes are, which are very large. We might be able to hit some of the, the kind of pinkish color that is around them often and stuff like that. The little parts of the inside of your eyelid that you can see. So we may be able to push the deco, and it'll be mostly achieved through gloss, though. Honestly, like that's. You hit that with gloss because their eyes are they're
still very small.
Yes.
These are not large. So
yes, they're bigger than a human's eyes, but they're still the size of a tiny, tiny rat. So
but really they're just a horse's eyes are usually just nearly black.
Yeah.
It's not like their entire eye is on show either. It's not like the entire eyeball is out there.
We sculpted them all with their eyes closed. So we don't have to paint their eyes.
Oh, that's genius. That's what you guys should do.
That's our next station in toy making. Is everyone has their eyes closed.
How will the horse temporal logs read? Like this.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a pitch for a storyline with the horses that can link all the horses together across multiple hack series.
Here we go.
Okay? And it's a completely original pitch that nobody's ever done before.
Is it Friendship is Magic? Because I hear that's been done.
This is better. Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Shergar stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He woke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide in this journey is Andrew Franks, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Shergar can see and hear. And so Shergar finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
Sorry, yeah. That music will be on while you're doing that, by the way. What I might do is take the visuals of Quantum Leap and animate horses' heads onto the people and Andrew Frank's heads onto Ziggy, and then that'd be amazing.
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. This is a completely original concept that I just created.
Oh my god.
Whatever. So we're not really at that stage yet, then, is what the answer is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when we decide what packaging is going to be like, maybe we'll decide that we're going to do that. But at this point...
It's already done, Catrina. Did you not hear me?
You should just give them Transformers power bar things that you can only read by holding like a red bit of plastic up against it.
Just like a real horse.
Exactly like a real horse.
That's how the jockeys do it.
We could just do tech specs for famous horses in that deco, like Seabiscuit, intelligence 9, speed 8.
Shergar, bullet holes 55. Oh, that's sorry.
Jeez.
Too much. Next question. Quick, move on, Paddy. Next one.
Will there be female centaurs?
If they're unlocked, yes.
If they're unlocked, yes.
Nice. Any plans for spotted horses?
Yes, plans, but again, it's going to depend on how we do, but
yeah,
we definitely want to hit, dapples and painted horses and all sorts of varieties.
Tiger Force, Night Force, Dreadnought Ground Assault, that kind of stuff.
A Python Patrol.
Python Patrol. Actually, that would be pretty epic with the snake mane as well. Oh, jobs all around.
What we need is that Knight of Asperity and Knight of Accord armor in Z-Force and Red Shadow colors.
Hell yes.
Actually, the first part of the next one has been answered. It's about whether the Pegasus, Unicorn, and Nightmare will be accessory packs. That's been covered off already. Cool. So, is there any talk amongst you guys of offering combo packs with riders in the near or distant future? You have what very much appears to be a Dio de los Muertos inspired horse. Are you going to offer a rider in any kind of colour scheme that coordinates with that horse? Or maybe even reissue the Tartarus Guard, which fits in with it pretty well?
It would definitely be very cool to do a series of figures and riders after the Kickstarter. It wouldn't be part of the Kickstarter. The question is would people buy into it? I mean, think about the price of a figure and then the price of a horse. You're looking at a $60 item.
Yeah. it may actually be more affordable for us and for the consumer if we made a horse and at the same time released a rider as a carded figure.
Yeah, but we haven't decided. We've been discussing it and trying to kind of figure out how that fits in later on, because it would be very cool to do a horse and rider type line. Much like Marvel Legends has the motorcycles, like the Ghost Rider with his motorcycle and the Black Widow with her motorcycle line right now.
It actually might be more affordable to have a figure come with a tack kit rather than a horse.
Yeah. What we've found out is that the
genius
bundling things together doesn't save us any money, so it doesn't save the consumer any money either. So
we would essentially have to charge you for a horse and the tack kit and the figure.
Yes.
So at that point, we can give you more options if we just say, here's a figure, here's a tack kit, here's a horse, and you can buy them and put them together.
Yeah.
Would it be something you might consider as doing like a con exclusive, maybe like a box set or something?
That might be a better a way to handle it. It is we haven't decided against it. It's just more that we're trying to figure out where it is, and it's kind of been shelved until after the Kickstarter, and we see how it all does.
Yeah, right now.
This is me just trying to pitch a red shadow coloured Knight of Asperity with a red shadow covered Knight of Asperity horse armor.
Beyond the Kickstarter, any other plans are all theoretical. There was so much design and sculpting and everything involved in this that until it's underway, we really haven't moved on past it. So it's all just things that we've talked about. We would like to do this or we would like to do that. It's nothing.
Yeah, nothing in stone.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question has been covered as well by you guys, in both parts of it. Will we have different manes? Yes, we will. Also, will we have seahorse, mermaid-like creatures, half horse, half fish? That was also answered. Will there be a batwing variation of the wings?
Yeah.
Yay! Next.
Everybody hasn't seen the Dark Pegasus / Unicorn kit yet, but when it goes live, everyone will. And
it's a beauty, guys. It's a beauty.
It's one of my favorite pieces in the set, in the whole thing. It's very fun.
Okay, next one. Can we put horse legs on people bodies for demon dudes?
Sorry, that sounds like they just want to put regular horse legs on real human bodies, not as in they're not even talking about the figures. Guys, can we finally put horse legs on human bodies, please?
Science isn't there yet.
That's something, depending on your level of customizing, you can do whatever you want with some glue and Dremels. And will they fit directly? Likely not.
Yeah, there's a good chance the ports for the horse will have to be a little larger than the ones that we have on our human figures.
Would you consider doing that as a kind of one of those like blind bag kind of assortment sets in the future? Just again, so nothing to do with like this Kickstarter, but like as in a Vitruvian Hacks blind bag mini kit.
That would be a cool kit to do something like that with the hooves.
Make something like Pan.
Yeah.
With the goat legs and
and Mr. Tumnus the Fawn.
Yes.
Yes, brilliant. Okay. Will the Centaur's upper body be in different colours?
The Centaur kits, there's a male and a female, and they come fully painted in a specific colour. It is still very much a flesh tone, like a human flesh tone, because it like fades from brown to like human. And then we have another surprise Centaur down the pike for the Kickstarter, so that will be a different color.
Awesome.
But because of the way it's made, Centaurs in artwork generally transfer from the horse's body color to the human body color. It's never really the same all the way throughout. So you really could use whichever horse you want, with whichever blank you want. And the only real alteration is the transition on the stomach piece from fur color to human color.
Yeah, cools.
Okay, next. What will the production timeline be like, ideally?
We are shooting for 1 year out from when the Kickstarter ends. The plan right now is to get everything to the factory at the end of the Kickstarter for tooling. Our timeline can go anywhere 8 months to a year from tooling time. 8 months is very lucky, though. Like, that is not a common timestamp, but
we're pretty comfortable that a year is about where we're going to be.
Yeah, a year is probably where we're going to be. That's we might run into some production challenges on the engineering of this that we haven't had to deal with before. So
cool. If the horses do well, has there been talk of other animals in the future, like giant lizards, rhinos, wolves, or bears?
Geez, one movie comes out that has an awesome rhinoceros scene in it, and everybody wants rhinos now. No.
We want to do animals, and if this does well enough, whatever we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we want them, so if we can do them, we'll do them.
Yeah, we designed and engineered and sculpted the dog for Marauder Task Force.
Oh.
And so using that type of engineering on a wolf or something would be amazing. And anything, giant lizards, that'd be freaking sweet. I love giant lizards now. I'm glad that was asked.
It may be a case where we need to do another Kickstarter to do a variety of animals, just because of the amount of tooling that would be involved.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of crossover and reusability of parts, so we would probably start with you start at the small animal level, and it would get higher and higher into the bigger.
Weasel.
But it would just start with a
mouse,
super articulated
Grundle.
The cheese from the mini kit set all the way up to the dragon.
Honey Phil.
Oh god, because you honestly.
Well, that's another thing you're doing. You're doing a few animals coming up anyway. You have a gargoyle coming in with the gargoyle. You have dragons coming with the dragon harvester. So it is something you want to do, obviously.
Yeah, we're all animal lovers.
We're trying to work it in wherever we can.
Yeah, it's starting to be worked in a lot more lately. And one of the things going forward is I'm going to be reworking the science fiction series again. So a lot of the stuff you've already seen for the science fiction run will actually be changing.
Scrapping that McLeod figure, definitely.
Except for that awesome McLeod figure. But we will be. One of the things we're going to be doing is.
But no, you're changing the design of McLeod to assless chaps, aren't you?
Which I'm totally down for.
But one of the things I want to do is add creatures and stuff in with them because I loved. I mean, that was as a kid. That was some of my favorite figures were the animal sidekick characters on G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's some of my favorite stuff. So, some of my favorite characters come with animals, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big proponent of Pet Avengers and stuff like that. So I want a Pet Avengers movie. I mean, am I the only one who wants that?
No, you're not. There are 3 other people that want it too.
But 2 of them are in asylums.
Yes.
And the final question, Padwado Leanwanan.
Any plans to release different legs to create different breeds with Shire horses and the like? We're getting a lot of leg questions here.
What's a Shire horse?
They're big, bloody, huge bastards that have big fluffy legs.
They're like half cow, half horse, half dinosaur.
They're huge. They're massive horses, and they exist as well, believe it or not. And they have really long furry hair on their legs that go all the way to the ground.
They're kind of from their shins down.
Check them out.
They'd be similar to a Clydesdale.
Yes.
So horses that require another sculpt, we would love to do them, and I'm sure this answer gets really tiring, I'm sure, but depending on how well the horses do, will dictate what we're able to do in the future. We would love to be able to do more than just one body type of horse, just like we'd love to be able to do one more body type for our figures, but it's all gonna depend on the consumer.
Awesome. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the listeners' questions and the Boss Fighters group questions. Thanks for everyone that kind of inputs those questions for us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And some absolute crackers in there too. So let's move on to the last part of this episode. Okay, now we've discussed the campaign and know what's coming. It's time to get mine and Paddy's input for horses we want to see in the line in the future. We don't care about anyone else. This is about us. Paddy, what kind of things do you want to see? That you haven't already seen. Because obviously we've been privy to some info on this one. Let's talk about some of the things that you would like to see in the line and see if the Boss Fighters are down for that.
For the elk. The elven elk. We need a withered branch elk. That's like a nasty, dirty, crazy as elk.
Like a smelk?
Yes. Whatever that is.
Not like a ghost white elk.
Possibly like a ghost white elk, but I really want him to have mad eyes. Get Erik Ridlon there to be just give him mad eyes.
Really bloodshot.
Really bloodshot, I am going to eat you eyes. I think that's required.
Eat you eyes. Actually, hungry eyes would have worked really well though.
Hungry eyes would have worked fine.
I don't know why I had to say that.
bark off this tree.
So what? Yeah. What I'm getting is that Paddy wants a dirty, dirty elk.
He wants to be spanked by a dirty, dirty elk.
With really intense eyes.
You can't have eyes intense. That's weird. Okay, personally for me, I want to see loads of like homages in these. Now I know I don't want to give anything away, but I kind of want to talk about She-Ra and Swiftwind. But you're kind of basically doing an homage to that. But I don't want to. We're not really allowed to say that, are we yet?
Well, it's not. I mean, we have a unicorn in the line, and then we have the Pegasus parts. You could with some paint.
That would be an easy custom.
That's a really easy custom to make. Like looking at Swiftwind, and I mean, we have a white horse that could be silver. We'll have a black kind of demon unicorn horse that could easily be customized into Vengers.
Oh.
Who once again doesn't have wings. Venger carries the horse.
I know. I've always thought that was amazing.
Yeah, he has mighty, mighty thighs.
Or he's glued to that saddle, because I very rarely ever see him off it. It's like he's just that the saddle is like attached to both of them, and then it's like right.
He's just ripping horse with his thighs as he flies around. It's hilarious.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like that horse is just like, no, I don't want to fly. Why are we flying? Yeah. Why do you need me? Just fly around. Why am I even here?
Of course.
And why did you like cell shade me to have like this grey surrounded like outline? I don't get it. No, that's awesome. Okay, so this is one I would love to see in the future. Something that hasn't actually come up, which I'm actually surprised at, but robotic horse structure. So some like kind of, cyborg horse. Now, is that something that you guys have thought about?
That's another thing that I have file full of robotic horse illustrations.
Something that we may see during the sci-fi series.
Yeah, that would be a really fun thing to come along this.
Will McLeod needs a Galaxy Ranger style horse or 3030 from Bravestarr. He needs that. I know because I've spoken to him and he's told me. That is awesome.
There's another concept we should probably look at, and that's to reboot Dino Riders for a new generation as horse riders and just have like attachable weapons for the horses.
Yes. Dun 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 dun. Horsey riders.
But yeah, like cyborg parts would be really cool.
Yes.
To swap out with the horse, and that's the great thing about our modular system is that we can do that with. Probably one tool, medium-sized tool.
Are you describing yourself?
Yes.
Rainbow Bright is what I'm thinking of, actually.
Oh, Rainbow Bright has that horse has rocket. It's like a rocket sled horse.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. Anyway, we're Googling things right now.
Amazing. What's the name of the horse toy in He-Man Master of the Universe? The kind of like robot one. I forget its name now.
It's probably got a really stupidly easy name like Robot Horse because they didn't really kill themselves thinking up names.
I bet it's some sort of pun. If it's from Masters of the Universe, I'm not sure.
Stridor, it's called.
Yeah. Oh, it is a pun. How about that?
Because that... I mean, again, if we're talking like a modular system of robotic parts and stuff, I mean, that has to be something that would be cool to do down the line, with like the little kind of helmet that slots onto it and the little guns either side of the neck and the different kind of colour aspects, but also the fact that there's a huge hole cut out of it. And you...
Well, yeah, the figure like sits inside of the torso,
it's
right?
So it's messed up. But obviously it's a robot, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a go-kart with legs instead of wheels.
They didn't like making things practical in Master of the Universe, did they? There was the attack track, which was just the most mental thing ever made. Like, you move it forward and the wheels are just like these massive tall things that flip around. It's like, what? The only thing they could have made it worse was if they made them square wheels.
What's funny about Stridor is that the figure sits inside of his torso, but the He-Man figures were sculpted like they were riding a horse anyway.
Yeah.
Like, all posed like they're riding a horse to begin with.
I know, just go with that. I know, their legs will do that, exactly.
Correctly.
Yeah.
They're all in Grundle crouch position, aren't they?
Grundle crouch.
Oh, that is an amazing horse that Catrina just sent through. That Rainbow Bright rocket, black and red rocket horse.
Also, can you name one of the horses Grundle crouch?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Anywho, yeah. So, okay. Any other ones that we haven't mentioned? What about you guys as the boss fighters? Are there any kind of things that you would like to kind of start customizing when you actually get these in hand yourselves? Because obviously you guys are customizers too. Are there any kind of horses you've got your eyes on in making?
All of the My Little Ponies.
Awesome. All of them.
Realistic My Little Ponies.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Don't be surprised if you see a decal sheet in the future.
Oh, sweet.
Realistic marks.
Butt marks, yeah. Butt tattoos. Yeah. It's kind of sexy that all of the My Little Ponies have butt tattoos, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, they should be right above the tail for the tramp stamp. So there's stamp tramps. Stamp. Yeah, I can't make a pun out of that, sorry. Well, like I said, I really want to make a hippocampus somehow, but beyond that, like, how cool would a underworld warrior?
Oh yeah,
like,
with the volcano kind of cracks and stuff. Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet as a horse.
I suppose even like the matching it up with the cursed Spartan would be quite cool because you could have like
a big statue.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
Tartarus Guard as well.
Yes.
Since the Ortos is very similar to it already.
And we have talked about doing Tartarus Guards as like Spartans, using a Spartan instead, or something like that. Obviously making, a Pegasus, the sprouted from Medusa's blood Pegasus.
Yes.
They're really cool.
Awesome. Okay, well,
yeah.
Well, and we want to hear what your thoughts on this are as well, listeners/viewers. Let us know what kind of horses you want to see.
I'm sure during the 45 days of the campaign, the guys are going to get pitched every idea in the world.
Yeah, I forget his name, but there is a Green Lantern that's a Centaur.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, expect that to be the first custom I make. With our
and that'll go in the Green Lantern. I say shelf, but it was more like a room now, isn't it?
It's like half a wall.
It's half a wall of a factory building. Okay, good luck, guys, with everything. When are we looking at the actual Kickstarter going live?
Hopefully early next week. We're going to probably submit later today, and then I guess just depending on how long Kickstarter takes to get back to us, we can expect it shortly after that.
Yeah, sometime. I mean, today is the 25th, so sometime in the next 5 days, it will probably go live. So everybody have your finger on the refresh button.
Get your wallets ready.
Get your wallets ready.
I'm going straight in for that all-in just to get that $10 off. I'm such a cheap. It's unbelievable.
No, that's why we do it though, is because you're cheap.
The faster you go on, the faster we can hit all those stretch goals.
Yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Oh, and also check out the video on the Kickstarter because it's awesome. It was made by some absolute genius of a human being who should be the king of the universe.
We cannot thank you enough for all the help with that, especially considering how late I got you all of the,
okay.
all of the images and stuff to put together.
This is going out for everyone to hear, but so I said to Erik about, I don't know, like 2 months ago, we were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, we'll get you plenty of time. We'll get you the information you need for the video. Awesome, brilliant. Okay, I'll let it go for a month. So any news on the Kickstarter stuff yet? He said, yeah, I'm working on it at the moment. We should be able to get you something by like next week. I was like, brilliant, awesome. A couple of weeks go by, another week goes by. I'm like, okay, so you guys were saying at the end of March, right? To the message Erik, and Erik's like, shit. I completely forgot to tell you. So I was like, can you do a video in the next few days? It's like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Chris. We are.
I totally understand, and that's why I kept asking, because I knew that at some point there'd be one of those moments where it was like, I completely forgot about that. But it's totally cool.
Stuff has been moving so quickly that even like we got the models of the horses printed to go to paint, and they went down to paint, and we're like, oh my god, did anybody take photos of them?
Yeah, we had to run down and grab them before they.
Erik had already primered them. And
yeah, so
my god.
Like work
is moving very quickly. So,
yeah,
which is good, but it's.
Totally understandable though with these things, and I know what it's like. You know, having seen you guys during the first kind of Kickstarter when that was kicking off, it's not an easy process, especially with the amount of things that you're dealing with, the amount of kind of different options you're giving people. So like, I think people A are going to be really impressed, and B are going to just, you know, I hope are going to, you know, prove that with their wallets. So pledge, go nuts, guys.
We don't know what to expect because this is new for us, but I hope people are excited.
And to everybody out there, if you know anybody, they don't have to be toy collectors. If they're just somebody who's really into horses or want something really cool, even if they want a single weird, you know, cool horse on their desk at work or something like that, spread the word. Like, tell as many people as you can.
I think our figures are now tested at 12 years old.
Yes, they are. So
young girls, dads with daughters.
Yes.
Get in there.
Yep.
Awesome. So thank you so much, guys. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my awesome co-hosts, Erik, Catrina and Paddy. See you next time. And as always, I've been waiting ages to say this, full horse! An explosion. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of these platforms with feedback, questions or to say, who do you think you are? A serious operation now? No, not even close. Look out for more of these news bursts that we are posting on the Facebook page from now on. Full Force.